So it looks like that E3 not even starting yet isn't going to slow down the hype gaming news, especially when it comes to the new Nintendo Switch, or the Nintendo Switch Pro, or maybe even call it the Super Nintendo Switch. As Takashi Mochizuki and Debbie Wu have some really juicy information about the plans of the upgraded Nintendo Switch replacement happening this year, in which Bloomberg and Eurogamer corroborates. So these two tech reporters are really putting their reputation on the line in reporting this news. And that deals with the new Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Switch Pro, or the Super Nintendo Switch, apparently hitting stores as early as September. I think that's pretty crazy, and what's crazier is that apparently Nintendo plans to unveil this new Switch model before E3, and E3 is literally around the corner, about 2 weeks away. Word on the street is that apparently Nintendo wants to reveal this new console in order to have all of their games and all of their developmental partners really show the power of this thing during E3 time. Which makes a ton of sense when you want to set up something big like this. But something that has me pondering is that apparently this new Nintendo Switch, or Super Nintendo Switch, is aimed to phase out the regular Nintendo Switch and be sold alongside of the Nintendo Switch Lite. And when talking about this new Nintendo Switch, we are talking about the same thing that we've been talking about for the longest. A new Nintendo Switch model with a 7-inch Samsung OLED display, a faster Nvidia GPU, and 4K support when docked to a TV. Something pretty beefy when compared to Nintendo's previous consoles, as they want to try and compete as much as they can with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X models of machines. And of course, my hope for this increased fidelity is making other games previously known for the Nintendo Switch to run a bit better. Ahem, Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. But yo, can you imagine like Breath of the Wild running at 60? I don't know, I'm optimistic. And it's stated that this new model is going to be a bit pricier than the base price of the Nintendo Switch, which is currently retail MSRP $299. And apparently other words on the street state that the price point could be around $399, 400 bucks. I'm not too keen on a price point like that, but hey, if it's got good power to stuff, and of course, you know, I'm gonna get it anyway since I'm Nintendo trash, I know some people are gonna feel some type of way when it comes to $399. And when it comes to the supposed release date, earlier I said it could be as soon as September, but it seems that they're marking up anywhere between September and October to get people ready for the true holiday season in order to release this console around fall. Now, all of this sounds extremely juicy, but when we're talking about the Nintendo Switch Pro, or I should say another model of a Nintendo Switch console, there's something that us Zelda fans have to look forward to, and I guess what I'm saying is Breath of the Wild 2, and the possibility of having that game launch alongside the Nintendo Switch Pro. And the reason why I bring this up is because, of course, if you've been keeping up with the Switch's lineup and the releases, the Nintendo Switch original model released with The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and the Nintendo Switch Lite actually released alongside of that with The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake, which seems to be a bit more geared towards that type of model considering the scope of that game. And could it be optimistically possible that we have Breath of the Wild 2 releasing alongside the Switch Pro, which could release as early as September, which will put it at minimum 2 months away from Skyward Sword HD. Now, you may think I'm crazy for even entertaining such an idea of having two pretty big releases release alongside each other in the same year when it comes to the Legend of Zelda series, but considering the track record of Nintendo and the series, they've done it before. In 1998, we had Ocarina of Time and Link's Awakening DX. In 2002, we had Four Swords and The Wind Waker. In 2004, we had Four Swords Adventures and The Minish Cap. In 2011, we had Ocarina of Time 3D and the original Skyward Sword. In 2013, we had Wind Waker HD and A Link Between Worlds. In 2015, we had Majora's Mask 3D and Triforce Heroes. So considering that Nintendo has, done it before, I would not write off the possibility of having Breath of the Wild 2 release as soon as September, which would knock everyone's socks off. Can you imagine Nintendo releasing a trailer for the Nintendo Switch Pro, talking about the specs and whatnot, gearing up for more information being held at E3 2021, and then having a Breath of the Wild 2 trailer at that show with the release date coinciding the Switch Pro possibly being in September or even October? I mean, the game is looking pretty dark, spooky Halloween season time. All this news sounds super tantalizing, and I trust Bloomberg and Eurogamer as they've called a lot of things right, and they're pretty reputable, so they have their reputations on the line. So we got 2 weeks to think about and to await a possible Nintendo Switch Pro reveal before that of E3 2021 and getting Nintendo's E3 2021 plans that much more hype. But I want to know what you guys think about this type of news. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you think I'm crazy for wanting Breath of the Wild 2 or thinking Breath of the Wild 2 could release as early as September alongside the Nintendo Switch Pro. Like, favorite, share, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK to keep on top of all the hype news. And be sure to check out my Patreon info if you want to find out how you can support for just $1 a month. Alright guys, until the next video, this has been HMK, and I'll check you guys later.